This is K.M. Weiland, and you are listening to the 88th episode of the Wordplay Podcast. After spending a week on the road, I'm happy to be back in the swing of things. I did manage to get a little work done en route, and I'm happy to be able to put the stamp of approval on the latest draft of my fantasy Dreamers. The main focus of this latest edit was identifying and fleshing out areas that had been shaved too thin during the last rewrite, which cut 40,000 words. I was worried that all the hard work spent cutting those words might have been in vain, since this latest draft required adding words. But I did pretty well and only added about 1,000 more words. So we're in pretty good shape there. I sent Dreamers off to another critique partner, and now I'm back to focusing my attention on writing Outlining Your Novel, Plan Your Way to Success, and researching some lingering questions from my recently completed historical, The Deepest Breath. In other news, today I'm privileged to be guest posting on the wonderful site Writer Unboxed. You can read my post, The 4 Pitfalls of Praise, by visiting writerunboxed.com or by swinging by my blog at wordplay-kmwyland, that's weiland.blogspot.com, to find the permalink. This week we're also celebrating the fact that Wordplay has reached 1,000 followers. As my thank you to all of you for your support, I'm hosting a prize drawing, with the prize of a copy of my CD, Conquering Writer's Block and Summoning Inspiration, the 10 Habits of Successful Authors bookmark, and the winner's choice of any of the books I have posted on my recommended reading page at kmwyland.com/recommended-reading.php. In order to enter the drawing, all you gotta do is leave a comment on my blog telling me how you first discovered Wordplay. Meanwhile, enjoy this week's podcast. What I Love Lucy can teach you about writing tics. Quick, what annoying trait do writers and I Love Lucy share? In the classic episode In Palm Springs, Lucy and her gang drive each other up the wall with their irritating habits. Ricky's finger tapping, Lucy's coffee stirring, Ethel's noisy eating, and Fred's key jingling. Writers aren't much different. We tap, stir, slurp, and jingle our way through our stories, gleefully unaware that we're driving readers crazy with our personal writing tics. The very fact that we're unaware of these tics means they can be insidiously difficult to find, much less overcome. Technically, a writing tic is any repeated mistake, so the term encompasses everything from major plot problems to grammar boo-boos. The only remedy for these types of tics is applied study of the craft, a good editor, and lots of practice. However, some of these villains aren't blatant mistakes. Sometimes tics take the seemingly innocent form of overused words and pet phrases. Commonly overused words. Some words are overused so often that they find their way onto the wanted dead or alive list of practically every author, agent, and editor, not to mention reader. Usually these are words that are flabby, boring, or just plain unnecessary. In fact, just plain has a pretty good price on its head. Run a search for words such as very, just, that, quite, nice, some, seemed, almost, and such. Whenever you find one, gun it down. 9 times out of 10, you'll realize the word isn't even needed to convey meaning or flavor. Personally overused words. In addition to generic tics, each author has his own cache of pet words and phrases, most of which are perfectly fine when used once or twice, but which become overbearing, distracting, and flat-out nauseating when they crop up in every chapter. Each author's personal tics are as unique as the rest of his writing, and usually he's completely blind to them. For example, throat, quirk, jaw, and muscles are words I've learned to guard against in my own writing, words one beta reader refers to as Weiland specials. This blindness is the very thing that makes these tics so dangerous. Ultimately, we're completely at the mercy of our critique partners, beta readers, and editors to help us identify which words and phrases we're overusing. Nothing is more valuable to a writer than a pair of objective eyes. But we can also get a head start on these tics by utilizing tools such as wordcounter.com, which allows you to search for both overused words and overused phrases of a specific length, or the Smart Edit scanning feature in Page 4, a word processor designed specifically for writers. Dialogue and gestures. Some of the most nefarious felons in the underworld of writing tics are those that appear in our dialogue and our descriptions of a character's gestures. As with all tics, Overuse dialogue phrases, such as you know, look here, and now then, and overuse gestures, shoulder shrugging, eyebrow raising, and arm crossing, are often unintentional on the writer's part. But sometimes we incur deliberate guilt in an attempt to characterize through consistent personality quirks. This is acceptable up to a point, but be careful you're not overdoing your protagonist's habit of shoving his glasses up the bridge of his nose. Mentioning this once or twice will be more than enough to get the point across to readers. Because writing tics continue to evolve throughout a writer's life, we'll probably never completely master them. But it's important to be vigilant, lest our readers get any bright ideas from that I Love Lucy episode and come after us with a baseball bat. Thank you for listening to the Wordplay Podcast. To read a transcript of this episode, visit me on the web at wordplay-kmwyland, that's weiland.blogspot.com, and be sure to listen again next week.